Well, hello art snackers, welcome back to Hot in the Shop. This is a series where we take a closer look at some great products available in the ArtSnacks shop. The last video was all about water-soluble markers and pens, but this time we're talking about water-soluble pencils. Before we go any further, if this is the first time we've met, my name is Jenny and I am a mixed media artist. When I'm not on the ArtSnacks channel playing with delightful products, you can find me at anartfullylivedlife.com. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make this seashell, and the very first thing that we need is the surface, which is the St. Cuthberts Mill Bockingford traditional watercolor paper. This is a hot press paper. It's a 9x12 pad. It comes with 12 sheets. It's acid-free and archival. The hot press paper serves as a beautiful surface for the other products we're going to use. I'm sketching out the shell using a Cretacolor Fine Art Graphite pencil in 2H. This pencil is not water soluble, but it is light enough to blend in as I layer more media to the paper. Now that I have the basic shape of the shell down, I'm using the Viarco ArtGraph water-soluble graphite pencil in 2B. If you've never worked with water-soluble graphite pencil before, you have got to try it. It's just another way to add shading and dimension to your drawings. There are a couple of different ways to apply it, but I'm using the most straightforward way here, and that is to make marks with the pencil directly on the paper and then watch them melt and blend together once you add water. You can see here that before I add the water, the marks on the paper look like any standard 2B pencil. I want to get a good base layer of pencil work in after the graphite, so now I'm going to add color with a few Faber-Castell Goldfaber Aqua watercolor pencils. I'm using these colors, number 118, which is scarlet, number 109, which is dark chrome yellow, and number 187, which is burnt ochre. And now it's time to add the water with the Derwent push button water brush. The rubber push buttons on the side help you control the water flow. Let's get back to watching the magic of these pencil marks melt into the paper. When I initially put down the watercolor pencil and the graphite, I used a very, very light pressure. I'm the type of person who likes to build up layers. Even with just a light pressure though, you can still see how vibrant those Goldfaber Aqua pencils are. And just look at that graphite melt and move around and blend together. It's a really, really fun and satisfying process. Depending on the amount of water I want to come through the brush, I will do a couple different things. If I want just a little more water than what's naturally working through the brush, I'll hold the brush over the napkin and then squeeze the little rubber push buttons so that any big water droplets will fall onto the napkin. This is great to move around the color in smaller areas of the piece. Now, if I have bigger areas that I just want to get all of the pencil strokes blended together, then I'll just squeeze the push buttons over the piece itself, let that big water droplet fall onto the paper, and then spread it around. And you know, it's really just a matter of getting used to the products and practicing with them, and then you get a feel for the look that you want. And here's a good spot to show you how the water really enhances those graphite marks. I let that entire first layer dry completely, and now I'm ready to come in and punch up the contrast and add a little more color. You'll see plenty of spots like the one here where I am mixing colored pencil and graphite right on the paper. Once the water hits it, it'll make a nice blend. With each layer, the Goldfaber Aqua pencils just get brighter and brighter and more vibrant. I love it. I'm purposely leaving the white line in between the yellow and the red as a highlight from the inside of the shell. When you're working with a water-soluble medium, it is really convenient to use a white gel pen or a Posca pen and bring in those highlights after the fact. But if you can possibly leave the white of the paper and plan that out in the beginning, that is the best way to have a highlight. It just goes along with the traditional watercolor look. Another technique you can use with watercolor pencils is to wet the paper first and then go right in with your pencil and make these dark, vibrant lines. These lines can be harder to blend out because it's just intense lines of color, but you can use that to your advantage when you're going into it and planning it out, because you can have these beautiful lines of color to accent and make details for your piece. When you're working with the water brush, the tip of the bristles is usually what moves the color around the most. To fan the color out though and make a nice transition from the color of the watercolor pencil to the white of the paper, I usually just apply a little bit more pressure. The belly of the brush hits the paper, there's more water there, less pigment, and you create a nice gradient that way. Yet another way to use water-soluble pencils is to pick up the pigment with the brush directly and then paint it on the piece as if it were just like a watercolor. This will give you a lower pigment load on the brush itself. However, you get a really subtle look that way, and sometimes that's exactly what you need, just a little more color in places. What I really like about using the water-soluble graphite and the Goldfaber Aqua pencils is that there is a real contrast in mood between the two of these. Not only is the graphite great for the shadows and shading, but it just mutes the other colors just a teeny tiny bit. And this is a shell after all. I want it to have that beachy, kind of weathered look to it. I'm using the graphite pencil to add a shadow underneath the shell. This particular pencil has a thicker core, so you can get some nice thick lines without getting too heavy-handed. On a side note, I noticed that I enjoyed working with these pencils without a sharp point. So as I would work with them, they'd get a little more dull. They lay down bigger areas of color. Before I decided on making a shell for this video though, I played around with these products quite a bit. And I almost made a full video of just doodles. But I couldn't get enough material together like I did with the flowers to make a good video for you. So I'll just show you right here. This is with using a sharper point with these pencils onto wet paper, and it was really, really fun. And you could zone out with this, make all sorts of doodles, and it was a happy place. Okay, back to the matter at hand. You can get some really dark values with that 2B graphite pencil, and layering it up helps the look of depth in the shadows. For the final touches, I'm going to use the Tombow Fudenosuke twin tip brush pen. One end is black and the other end is gray, but I'm only going to be using the black for line work today. Both tips are pretty flexible and allow you to get a variety of line weight depending on how much pressure you use. While you're watching me do some line work, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the ArtSnacks Shop Rewards program. You have the opportunity to earn rewards points for things like shop purchases, following ArtSnacks on social media, writing product reviews, and even just for signing up for the rewards program. For program details and to sign up, you can follow the link in the description box below. And once you're in the ArtSnacks shop, just look for the little green button at the lower right of your screen that says Earn Rewards. I hope you've enjoyed this video. All the supplies I've used today can be found in a link in the description box below. And to get 15% off these select products, just use coupon code HOT15 at checkout. While you're here, don't forget to give this video a like, subscribe for more videos, join us for free over on Mix, and follow ArtSnacks on social media.